Assalamualaikum and a very good evening. My name is Haziq bin Razif, and I am from Group 5, followed by my teammates Izzuddin Hashim, Aliff Fikri, Arif Daniel, and Syafiq Adimun. So, our group will be presenting about the requirement elicitation. For this topic, only me, Izzuddin, and Aliff will be representing, since Arif Daniel and Syafiq Adimun have presented for the first chapter. Okay, so for observation, what is the purpose of observation? Observation is to learn about other people's activities, tasks, tools, and events. So there are three key elements. Firstly is to understand and recognize operational processes and help derive requirements for software to support these processes. Secondly is to ensure all stakeholders are aware of the purpose for the observation session. And last but not least is that everyone is agreed on the desired outcomes and delivered on them or meets their expectations. So observation is divided into two categories. Firstly is active observation, and secondly is passive observation. So I will talk about the active observation, followed by Aliff, who will talk about the passive observation. So active observation is when you inquire about the work that other persons are doing and try to duplicate the work.
Other than active observation is passive observation. Passive observation, or known as silent observation, is when you sit with other people, you as developer will simply observe how they perform their work and tasks without interpreting or disturbing them.
Okay, so I will proceed to talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of observation. So as for the advantages, there are three key points. Firstly is the observer will gain a practical insight into the work. Secondly, it will be helpful to understand existing systems. And thirdly, it's simple to identify areas for improvement. Now, as for the advantages, there are also three key points. And the key points being, firstly, observer might get disturbed, followed by the observer might change their way of working during observation. And lastly, it's impossible to observe knowledge-based in actions.
So the next method is what we call as a survey. Now what a survey does is what we do to stakeholders, which are the volunteers. We ask them a series of questions in order to quantify their thoughts and opinions on our project. A survey is an empirical method which enables researchers to collect data from a large pool of people. It analyzes the techniques we do in the project, the expressing functionals, the data, the navigational requirements, and also the mechanisms for automatically converting these requirements into conceptual models. Now, when we do a survey, usually the response gives a critical review, in most cases, of the support that these methods provide for handling software requirements in our project. Now, there are two types of questions that you can ask in a survey to the respondents, in which case the one is an open-ended questions. Now, an open-ended question is when we give the respondent an option of providing answers in their own words, rather than just giving them a list of prepared options from us.
Next, there is closed-ended survey. The survey will include a predefined set of responses and answer for all of the questions from which respondent must choose. Question can be multiple choice or can be ranked from not important to very important one.
As all things do, they have advantages and disadvantages. Now, with the advantages of using the survey method is that it's easier to collect data from a large pool of people, and it's require less time for an audience to answer, since you only need a short amount of time from person to person in order for them to answer the questions that we give them. We can also acquire more accurate information from using the survey method. Now, the disadvantages, though, however, is that not all the people that come and go when we're doing our survey, especially if it's in public, will take part in our survey. It's their choice if they want to partake in our questionnaire or not. And some of the questions that we ask may not be clear to the respondents due to maybe terminologies that we use in the question itself. And also, the questions require more analysis, and therefore requires more time than necessary if we want to get information from them.